Hi everyone, I'm here with Yixin, one of the standout participants on the Geotab Vibe Coding Hackathon, and she's going to tell us all about this project and how she keeps going into different hackathons and sometimes winning them. Hi Yixin, how are you doing?
Hi, Philip. Thank you so much for the introduction and for having me here. I'm really happy to be sharing what I did for the Geotab competition. I think that I had a lot of fun experimenting with Geotab's tech stack, as well as just looking at what I can do with a dashboard and a bunch of API keys.
Yeah,
So
the judges love what you did here. They were impressed. I read their comments. I see that you're completely new to the Geotab world. You just
I,
like showing up at hackathons and impressing everyone. How does that work?
I think what specifically drew me to Geotab was that when I first looked into it, I was really quite impressed by how rich the data could get. So like looking at things like trips, GPS breadcrumbs, or like stop durations, all of that. And fleet data isn't like it's not an industry that I'm in and it's not something that I'm very familiar with. But that really like spoke to me in terms of someone who is interested in like statistics in my own fields in computing. And I think a lot of the value that we have currently existing in other products is kind of locked into raw tables and dashboards. So you can kind of see what happened, but it's less easy to understand why it happens or communicate why it matters to someone else. So I think that Geotab kind of helped to bridge that gap, and that's something that I wanted to explore through this hackathon.
And for people wondering, how did you show up here? How did you find this hackathon? How do you find all the other events you've been going to?
Primarily through Luma or word of mouth. So that's where I hear about the hackathons. I think that in SF in particular, they're also quite active on Discord. So a lot of like the different communities. I mean, for Jota, it was like Reddit as well, right? I think having all of these social media communities really helps to kind of get more outreach on the hackathons. Yeah.
You are currently living in San Francisco, but this is not your hometown. What's your story there?
I grew up in Singapore and
Uh-huh.
I'm here on a work study program. I've only been here 2 months and I'll be here until the end of the year. So I'm taking courses at Stanford and I'm also interning at an education tech startup while I'm here.
That's a lot.
That's my choice. But I guess that's just how I want to spend my free time here. So yeah, this is all part of like a school program that I'm on called the NUS Overseas Colleges program. Yeah.
Well, welcome to San Francisco, and maybe one day I'll go visit you in Singapore. I love that island. But let's
Oh,
talk about your project now. This is Fleet Happens, Fleet Data, Real Stories. Tell me more about it.
so, as an overview, FleetHappens is a full stack fleet intelligence web app. Its goal is to turn raw fleet intelligence into something that's more usable, interpretable, and shareable. At the core, what it does is that it combines the Geotab Direct API for live fleet data, which includes vehicles, trips, device status, with Geotab Ace, which is used for natural language analytics over historical data. So you can see this is just the overview page. It kind of shows the daily brief, which generalizes the information. I split it into different regions that's identified by the areas on the map. And over here, I layered it with maps, reverse geocoding, as well as nearby place context. So this is all done with a multi-provider LM chain that's supported by Google Cloud services like BigQuery, as well as cloud text to speech. So you'll see that in the multi-modality purposes later, as well as cloud run deployment. So yeah, a lot of things going on when it comes to the tech stack, but at its core, it is making use of Geotab. So what I
Yeah.
think makes this product distinctive is that it doesn't just show where a vehicle goes, it helps to kind of explain what happened. So maybe I could just show you an example real quick. So, okay, so here we're looking at the North region, and these are all the vehicles that are categorized in this region. And you can kind of see like an overview of the vehicles here. So this is summarized by the LLM. Distance breakdown of this data is being retrieved by the Geotab API query. Stop hotspots, these are all just extra data that will help someone who is trying to manage the fleet as well as like trends over time. Yeah, so if you want to look at a specific vehicle, we just need to click into it.
Mhm.
And perfect. So this kind of shows like the past few dates or its most recent travels of the vehicle. And you can click onto each route to
Nice.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah, so this is super cool. Suddenly you have all this data available, are able to put it on a map, and this is like how we start. And then you were able to add some pretty creative ideas over this.
Yes, that's right. So I think some of the more creative ideas that I had was firstly if you want to click onto each individual route, it kind of shows the briefing as well as the Google Street View of the route itself. So I could just click on this and voila. Yeah, so you can see the Google Street
Voila.
View of of where the vehicle is traveling. So this is just for one vehicle's route. And you can do that for any route really, any line that's shown on this map. And the second feature that I added to spice things up is the create trip story feature. So really what this is doing is it's a way to kind of share how the trip of a fleet has gone, but not just through text, but through like a comic style kind of image. So if you, for example, if you see here, let's say you want to choose a playful tone, right? You can generate story. It kind of shows the photos along the way. Okay, clearly, I mean, the vehicle is not in the room itself, but this is what it fetched from Google Images based on the location of the vehicle. So yeah,
Nice.
it just kind of shows
So,
where the vehicle has traveled generally, and you can share and export it to like a PDF document. So another thing is that there's this kind of a quick fire shortcut for you to ask something like, oh, what's the most um, vehicle which traveled the most distance, right? Something like that. And then it'll either return you a quick navigation chip where you can retrieve the data that you're looking for, or it will give you an answer if it's something through like hazy search or LM query call.
I like how you're bringing storytelling between to this. I'm interested in figuring out how you chose between telling stories between the guidebook, the playful, and the cinematic alternatives.
Oh, I guess this is just dependent on audience, like the audience they want to share it with. So if like for example, if you just want to share it like within the team, then it could be something that's more informal, right? Like if you're managing a fleet, or if you want to share it from more like say to a tourist agency, then maybe you want it to look more like a guidebook or something that's more dramatic, it's more cinematic. The tone itself in the background, it's adjusted by it's shaped by how the LLM prompt is phrased, because then that would then generate the different captions that we see down here. Yeah, like something as
Uh,
dramatic as the landscape scrolls that would be more cinematic. Yeah.
I saw in your code that you're using multiple LLMs, not only Gemini, but also Claude and OpenAI. How are you putting everything together?
Okay, so the LMs themselves, they're the reason why I'm using multiple of them for the product is mainly for reliability and flexibility purposes. Because I mean, from a user standpoint, not everyone may have access to the same API keys. But also I think different LMs can have strengths in different areas. For example, some for Gemini Flash, right? It's quicker in terms of like fetching all of these text, the output text as well as the images, so since it's directly linked to Google Maps or Google Street View. But mainly, the main reason why I had different LMs integrated was for reliability reasons, because different providers can fail for different reasons, whether it's about rate limits or like authentication issues or even like latency spikes. So having all of those fallbacks made it more robust.
And throughout these hackathons, what other lessons do you have for people that want to join hackathons and participate? What have you learned?
Just do it. I think that the strength of participating in hackathons in today's era is that vibe coding tools have become very popular. They've also become a lot stronger than it was like maybe a year ago. And because of that, creating a product is a lot more accessible, even if you don't have a technical background, right? Like, I mean, that I guess that's kind of the whole point of this competition as well, is to really come to show the strength of vibe coding. Um, I feel like the culture in SF as well. I mean, not just SF. I think hackathons as a whole could benefit from the culture of just embracing the different AI coding tools that we have now. And of course, a lot of like the architectural decisions or the ideas for features may come from the human agent, which is like the creator themselves. But ultimately, the tools are there to help you produce an MVP that you'll be happy to, you'll be proud of.
Yep, you have such an awesome portfolio now. What other projects outside this one are you super proud of?
I like to participate in hackathons for pure fun. I think that
Mhm.
a lot of times I don't go into hackathon with like an idea that I brainstormed beforehand. I kind of just look at the tech stack that's provided. They kind of just give you free credits and tech stacks to experiment with, and that's what I like about hackathons. So I think of an idea on the spot, like on the day itself. And that's usually how my experience is like. I tend to avoid more corporate-ish ideas just because like I'm more drawn to like the more creative spaces. So for example, something else that I've made in the past was um a platform that can convert a short textual prompt into a comic panel, and then it's like interactive, right? So as the user you can respond to the comic panel, you can make decisions on behalf of the protagonist, and then it'll generate a few more panels based on the user's choice. So that's an example of what I've made in the past. And right now I'm working on this kind of like a marketing tool that helps to generate it scrapes the web for information about a certain company that you key in. It would give you a brand intelligence report on it and recommend actions that you can take to improve the branding. So that's something else that I'm working on.
So you've been working on storytelling for fleets, and now working on marketing for people
Mhm.
that are outside San Francisco, because here you can find hackathons in person every day. I don't know in Singapore how often you find a hackathon. What can you tell them about online hackathons? How much do you like them, or how much do you recommend joining them?
The great thing about online hackathons is that there will always be an active online platform, like a community behind it, whether that's on Reddit, whether that's on Discord. There will be a huge group of people who are willing to kind of just support and help each other out, and very active moderators who are also there to kind of help you with along the way, because ultimately everything is done out online, right? Um, there are platforms like DevPost where you can also look out for online hackathons. I think before I started like joining hackathons, I didn't realize how many hackathons there were really just to join online. But there is a lot. You just gotta know like to search them up.
And how do you choose between going alone or forming a team? In this case, you went alone. Do you always go alone, or do you find teammates?
It's a mix of both, I feel. I think there are merits to doing it solo as well as doing it in a team. I guess the challenge with online hackathons may be that if you participate with people who are, not people you don't know in real life, it might be difficult to coordinate. But the upside from that is that you also kind of get a more global perspective on things because they are quite literally across the world, and they will have very different skill sets from you. So when I go for in real life hackathons, I do um as and in some of them I do try to like team up other people, like try to
Mhm.
network with other people who, they may have very different niche skill sets that are both technical and non-technical. So that's fun as well, like that part of meeting new people and building something together. It's always exciting.
So, for people that want to see your other projects, that want your advice, or that want to invite you to be part of their team, how can they contact you?
Oh wow, reach out to me on LinkedIn. I've been trying to be more active on that platform, so I'll definitely respond.
You have
And
super fun LinkedIn posts, so
I
let's
try.
make this video part of that story.
Of course, of course. I look forward to like meeting everyone else who has participated in this competition as well. We'll be quite interested to hear what other people have done.
Thank you so much, Yixin. And if you want something for people to remember from this conversation, what would you like them to remember?
I want them to remember that every trip has a story, just like what I
Every
have.
trip has a story. I like it.
No matter what project you work on, whether you win, whether you lose, whether you're participating solo or in a team, there's always something to take away from it. As cliche as that sounds, it's true because I encourage people to always make new things. I mean, it's fine if you're, in a sense, recycling projects as long as you're iterating on it, improving it, making it better, exploring new things. Yeah, that's all fun, part of the fun, right? With learning and making new stories for yourself. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your trip and sharing your story. Hopefully, there's a lot more stories in the future. And for now, thanks a lot, and I'll see you around the road.
Alrighty, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.